name is Dan Carroll. I'm a CNC machinist slash manual machinist slash programmer slash do a little bit of welding. I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I'm in that age group where we used to do all that kind of stuff, and our age group is kind of phasing out. We're the baby boomers. So anyway, I do a little bit of everything. I've been in the oil field industry. I've been in auto industry, aircraft parts, tool and cutter grinding work, tool and die work. There isn't a part of the manufacturing or machining industry that I haven't been in at some point. I finally settled in on my niche. My niche is production. You give me a machine, somebody else's machine, give me 10,000 parts, give them 10,000 parts, you'll go. I'll get there first. That's what I do. It's just, it's a personal thing with me. And if I can't get there or somebody pushes me, I enjoy that because I get better when somebody pushes me. So that's what I do, and that's why I do it. I actually started doing this in between my sophomore and junior year in high school in 1973. So that would be, what, 46 years? So I started out on manual machines. Back in 1973, there were some CNC machines, but they were clumsy. Not very many of them in the market yet. So everything I did was manual, the old style. Grind my own tools, manual lathes. At least we weren't going with the line belt drive. Like if anybody has looked at the old pictures of how it used to be, there was a shaft that went down the middle of a shop, and you had these great big wide 4-inch, 5-inch, and 6-inch wide belts that went to all the different machines, and you used paddles to change gears with that. Very dangerous. Well, I started a little bit after that. Eventually, I got into I did a little welding, got certified for that, and realized I didn't want to be welding all my life. It was too hot. So I stuck with machining. 1982, I moved from my home state down to Oklahoma, and that's where I really ran into CNC machines. And I resisted becoming a CNC machinist because I was good at a manual machine work, and I really enjoyed the fact that I was good at it, and hung in there with it. But after a while, it's a matter of economics. If I wanted to make more money, I had to run CNCs. So I started learning how to do it, found out I enjoyed it, decided to learn how to do the programming, took a course at a Votech school. And ever since then, I've learned practically every day something new about the machines or a different machine. The good machinist, number one, is and this has to do with safety, housekeeping. They work in a clean environment. They don't have their tools thrown all over the workbench. They're not sloppy. It's just, if you're sloppy doing that, you're going to be sloppy running the machine. And when you're sloppy running the machine, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to scrap parts. Worse yet, you could crash machine. People could get hurt. A good machinist also, I catch a lot of flack on this one too, but a good machinist also is somebody who's just a little bit cocky. Somebody who they go around, yes, I'm good, I'm this, I'm that. Okay, it helps to be a little bit cocky because that's what gives you your swagger. That's what makes you go out there and try to get better and do more and beat the person next to you or be the go-to guy in that small shop. Now, as far as what makes a bad machinist, okay, being untidy, not watching out for your other associates who are around there working. For example, if you're running a mill, an old manual mill, and you're using a face mill and it's throwing chips, you try to be aware of where your co-workers are, and there are different ways you can attack that material to aim where the chips go. If you don't care about that, you can end up throwing chips on somebody and they get burnt, or just make a mess and becomes a hazard. So, you should always be aware of your surroundings. Another thing about what makes a bad machinist is somebody who comes in and says, you know what, I got within tolerance, that's good enough. If you just think everything is just good enough, you're going to be just a good enough machinist. your goal should always be, if you have a 10 thousandths tolerance, your goal should always be right in the middle of that tolerance. Try to make the perfect part. It's impossible to do, but that's what you try to do. When you go to become a machinist and you are trying to establish yourself at an employer's, go in, be a model employee. This is very important. You can be a really good machinist, but if you're late all the time, or if you come in and you're not dressed appropriately, you use offensive language and things of that nature, which in the past that has been kind of a staple of machinists. We can all be kind of cranky, kind of rude, crude, and obnoxious. But go in and be that model employee. Always show up on time. If they ask, is there any way you can stay late for an hour to do this? Jump into it, say yes, and with a big smile, what can I do to help? Because those kinds of things are the things that they remember. Always remember in a machine shop, it's sad just this way, but the supervisor out there is always going to remember that one big, huge mistake that you made. So best thing you can do as a buffer against that is try to be the best employee that you can and not an irritant. And that way, when you do make that mistake, and we're all going to do it, because if you're not making mistakes in machine shop, it's because you're not doing anything. But that's how you learn. But yeah, always be that model employee. I couldn't resist because first of all, my recruiter did a really terrific job selling me. Anyway, he did a really good job explaining what it was and everything. And at first, when I applied for the job, I saw it on the internet. I think I saw it on Indeed. It was for a job that was local in the town that I was living in. And so I applied for that. And then I got a call. I spent all that evening filling out everything, putting in my resume, going through the process of the application and everything. Got a call from the recruiter the next morning. I was amazed. And they told me, well, it's as a contract machinist, you're gonna go around to different places and everything. And at first it was kind of, oh well, shoot, I didn't know it was that, and I apologize for wasting your time. And at first I turned them down. And about a month and a half later, and 16 interviews later from places around town where I didn't get the results I was looking for, wife and I just said, well, you know what? Like I say, my recruiter did a good job of explaining the whole process. I said, you know what? We're at a point where we'd like to buy a house, and we've got a limited amount of time to pay for it because of our age. And I said, you know what? PMG is a good way to do that. One of the things about it is, then again, this goes towards always learning something every day. You go to different places, different manufacturing environments. You find out that you only thought there was just one way to skin this cat. Well, there's 9 or 10 other different ways out there. The way you're doing it in the shop you're in now might be the best way for you, but then you go someplace else where they had saved the money to invest in other types of machinery, and you find out, well, wow, this is better, this is faster, it's more efficient, it makes a better product. So you still get to learn things all the time. Meeting the people. Lots of good folks out there who are in the industry, and a lot of you run into people who say, well, I've worked here for 25 years, and you get to see what they do, which is lots of fun. And so you meet a lot of nice people. You learn new processes. You run into new machinery. This last assignment I did before the one I'm on now, I ran into, like I said, a machine I'd never heard of. It's a German-made machine called a Grobe, spelled G-R-O-B. It's a 5-axis machining center. Had a Siemens control. I'd never heard of a Grobe, but I knew the control. So they gave me the opportunity to run that, and I really had a lot of fun with that. I got back there and I was working 12-hour days. They just give me my parts, and I get back there and in the middle of working, kind of singing to myself, and everybody walking by. So, oh, there's the old guy. He's back there having a good time. Okay. Yeah, there are parts of it that are not all that fun. I am away from my family, away from my wife, and you know, I married her because I like her, and but we overcome that. We both have iPhones, so we FaceTime a lot, and then we've also used Skype on the laptops. So we do communicate, and we at least text every day when I'm in my off time. Yeah, I would say, yeah, machine work right now is like I say, is a wonderful time to be a young person who wants to get in and learn machine work. If you get into it and you get pretty good at it, and all you folks are out there playing all these games on PlayStation and all this stuff, if you can do that and you're pretty good at it, you have the potential to be a really good machinist. It's a lot of machine work has to do with eye-to-hand coordination, and so, you know, you get out there, and the nice part about it is you're nowadays, you're going to be able to start making some really, really good money. It's not the dirty job it used to be. And you'll also find in your community, for example, if you live in a metropolitan area, we'll just use St. Paul, Minneapolis, for an example. If you live in that area and you're a machinist, within about 5 to 10 years, you probably know or have had interactions with almost every machinist in that area. It's kind of a family. It's a group. We all kind of pass information back and forth about the places where we work. And actually we help each other too, and we all get a big kick about that. Somebody's trying to learn, a young person trying to learn how to do something, and say, I'm having chatter, I'm doing this, and we just start doing like we did when we were young. We start ticking off. I say, okay, did you try this? Did you look at this? Did you look at that? And then they come back and say, hey, that fixed it for me. Really appreciate it. That helps you. That's networking, and which is kind of like LinkedIn and folks like that. So yeah, it's not what it used to be. It's a whole lot nicer. It's a whole lot cleaner. It pays a whole lot more than it used to, and I've enjoyed it. I don't think I could have done anything else.